Hey everyone, it's Mega Champ again. Boy, it's almost like such a shock, when I play a short game and it's not a game that's 200 hours or that takes me 200 hours. And it doesn't take me very long before I'm able to do this again. Yeah, I'll stop harping on that. I'll stop complaining about that if you really want to use that word, as far as why I continue to say that. But yeah, I did finish Rayman Legends, to my liking at least. Didn't get true 100%, but you're going to quickly find out here that this game and probably this franchise is not really a game I'm gonna be able to get 100% on. I mean, I didn't really get 100% on the Crash games either. At least not the third game from Insane Trilogy, and definitely not the fourth game. But the point is, I did complete Rayman Legends to my liking at least. Only took me a little over 25 hours, somewhere around there. So, yeah, significantly less than the last game I played. But I did say that the next three games I was playing were shorter or in the shorter range. But, obviously, clearly, I take a lot longer to beat games than other people do. But everyone's different, I guess. Every situation is going to be different at the end of the day. But yeah, it's once again time for my full thoughts video on Rayman Legends. So, not really much to say before I get started here. I mean, it's same old, same old. This is just my personal feelings, thoughts, experiences, and opinions on this game, which basically means that, everyone can have their opinion, you can have your opinion, so I can have my opinion. Everyone's experience, feelings, and thoughts are going to be different. Your experience may differ from mine, but this is just my feelings and thoughts and experiences and opinions on this game. You also have to keep in mind that this is a platformer of the platforming genre, the platforming franchise, whatever word you want to give it, which means there may or may not be a lot to say. Because as I continue to say and do the thing that I hate doing, which is sound like a broken record, platformers are really known for one thing and one thing only, and that's gameplay, and that's it. That's literally it. Most platforming games don't have an amazing story, so to speak, and don't have amazing character development, so to speak. Those platformers exist, and I have heard of platformers that are like that. Klonoa! Sly Cooper! But they are basically rarities and a few and far between. But mostly platformers are mostly known for their gameplay, and that's it, period, end of story. So there may not really be a whole lot for me to say in those specific categories. Just letting you know that now. But I will still go over the story of the game, the characters of the game, the world or the setting of the game, and of course the graphics and the gameplay. I am not an expert. I have never claimed to be an expert. I will probably never be an expert. Some things I'm more of an expert in than others, but I've never claimed to be an overall expert. So, and nobody should be claiming they're an expert, especially when most of it comes down to opinions at the end of the day, but that's not really the point. So yeah, this Rayman Legends, I played the PlayStation 4 version. It's for multiple different platforms. I'm showing you this way too soon, but as you can see from the Metacritic score here, it's for a bunch of different console platforms. So yeah, just kind of figured I'd show that to you to show that it's very you know it's for a lot of platforms basically, but as you can see, this is also a very goddamn old game. It initially came out in 2013, so it's over 10 years old. That's old. Hey, I never said I'm playing things from this year. That's for damn sure. I'm 2 years behind. You didn't figure that already out on your own, and I haven't already stated that several times. But yeah, the other thing you should probably know here is that Rayman Legends is actually my very first game from this franchise of Rayman, of the Rayman franchise. And I have never played any, and I mean any, of the other games prior to this, including the game that Rayman Legends is apparently a quote unquote sequel to, Origins. I did not play Rayman Origins, and this is apparently technically the sequel. Make sense of that. I'm willing to play more games of the franchise, obviously, but obviously my preference is that they get re-released for modern consoles, PlayStation 5, etc., 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 or remastered, or, if more games of the franchise decide to ever come out. Oh boy, are we gonna get to talk about that sometimes too. What, you didn't expect me to call that shit out? How many times have I called out the treatment of Klonoa by good old Scamco? Yeah, that's what I thought. Which, considering who owns the Rayman franchise and how they've treated it, it feels and seems incredibly unlikely. There is a report, quote unquote, if you want to give it that word and call it that, about supposedly a new game, but there's a little saying called "I'll believe it when I see it." So we'll see. We'll see. Either way, I have not played any of the other games in the franchise. I am willing to. If you want to recommend Rayman Origins, feel free. It is only on PlayStation 3. Or not only on PlayStation 3, but that would be the console I would get it for, as I don't really own any of the other consoles it is available for. And most of them are probably out of print, so the easiest one to find would be, the PlayStation 3 version. Which I am incredibly concerned that my PlayStation 3 could possibly kick the bucket at any given moment. So that's kind of an issue as well. I'm not saying I still can't try, but it would be nice if it was to be re-released, which will never happen. So if you want to recommend it, feel free. If you want to strongly recommend it, feel free. I just have concerns. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm going to say. So as usual, as per normal, we are going to start with the story of the game, which is very simplistic because again, platformer. Yeah, I'm gonna really hate myself because I'm gonna sound like a broken record a lot. A lot. So get ready for that too. So, the story of the game. Um, just as a sort of prerequisite here, or just as a sort of I'm just letting you know situation. I did kind of look at the Wikipedia page after I beat the game just so I could try my best to sort of summarize, quote unquote, the story of the game. I'm sorry, okay? I can't remember all this stuff, and I want to try to get it as right as possible and be as accurate as possible. I did try to give my own sort of wording to it, but it is basically from the Wikipedia page. I'm sorry, give me a break. So, the story of Rayman Legends takes place after Rayman Origins, apparently, which is a PlayStation 3 game and other consoles, in which Rayman and his friends have apparently been asleep the whole time. Okay? And a character called Bubble Dreamer, wish I was kidding, literally the character name from the Wikipedia page, has nightmares in which they are growing and expanding somehow from a villain that apparently is from the prior game, from Rayman Origins. And then some warrior princesses, Barbara and her sisters, not just kidding here, are captured. Oh joy, that totally doesn't sound familiar. And then Murphy, which is apparently a green frog-like, fairy-like support character, gets waken up by the Bubble Dreamer and then has to wake up Rayman and the rest of his friends to end this, and technically, I guess, if you want to give it this wording, save the princesses, quote unquote. Your princess is in another castle. Yeah, sure, let's make that reference. So to speak. But yeah, it's simplistic. Who cares, really? I mean, it's a platformer story is practically not important. Just saying. Just saying. And if I'm to be even more honest with you, saving the princesses, quote unquote, is basically secondary and also technically optional. So, I mean, you can do it. I did, and if you rescue all 10 of them, yes, there are 10, two in each world painting, whatever you want to call it, level. Um, if you get them all, you get a trophy. But I do like me some trophies, so. Like I stated already, I did not play Rayman Origins. I mean, could I get it and play it? Yeah, I already found it pretty cheap on Amazon, but it's a PS3 game, and like I said earlier, my PS3 could kick the bucket at any given moment. Now, if you ask me, okay, from my perspective, and again, this could just literally be only me, okay? It could just literally be only me. The fact that I did not play Rayman Origins didn't really seem to matter all that much. It really didn't. It really didn't. If you ask me, if you ask me to understand the story of the game, am I wrong? Sure, there's always that possibility. But even Google searching said you didn't really need to play Rayman Origins to play Rayman Legends. Again, it's Google. It could be wrong. If you want to claim that you have to, go ahead, I guess. But I didn't play Origins and I was fine. So you don't necessarily need to do that. So, like I continue to say here and continue to be my broken record self as I hate doing it, trust me, I do. To repeat, the story of platforming games is not exactly all that important or relevant, quote unquote. Once again, yes, there are platforming franchises and games that have a quote unquote good story. Klonoa. Spyro as well, to an extent, and Sly Cooper, if you want to throw that in there. But platformers rely on one thing, and one thing only, mostly gameplay. It's gameplay. So the story was fine, I guess. I mean, maybe I'd have more context if I played Rayman Origins. Again, not gonna deny that possibility. It was still, once again, more about the gameplay, but whatever, I guess. I mean, look, like I said, if it's recommended strongly enough, I might, keyword, play Rayman Origins. But since I don't really get a lot of comments on my videos or people telling me shit in general, even on Discord, it likely is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Unless it gets re-released or remastered or whatever. Also not going to happen. Likely won't happen. Again, due to the person who owns the franchise, which is Ubisoft, by the way. Yeah, them. The worst company in existence. Worst gaming company in existence right now. And how they clearly don't give a fuck about it and want it dead and buried and gone for good. You know, like how Scamco treats Klonoa and Hack, and I would still argue Digimon. It's not going to happen that it's going to get re released. Always possible. Anything's possible. But with the way Ubisoft's acts, yeah. You're more likely to win the lottery. We're moving on to characters now. Good God, man. Fuck Ubisoft, seriously. Not much to really say about characters either. I'm going to list the characters first. So there's Rayman, obviously. Ooh, what a shock. Murphy, which is a green frog-like, fairy-like supporting character that assists in certain levels all throughout the game. It's this thing right here. Glow blocks, the teensies, who are also the collectibles. That's unique, I guess. And the, you know, quote unquote warrior princesses that you rescue. Barbara and her sisters. That are basically modeled around the world or painting or whatever you wish to call it. So it's just kind of reskins of Barbara, basically. Here's the characters. I couldn't find a bigger image. I'm sorry. I tried, but this one's Glow Blocks. That's Barbara, and that's the Teensy. So yeah, and of course Rayman. I tried. I'm trying. I'm not good at this either. I've never pretended to be good at this. I just do this shit for fun. So yeah. And because I like doing it, and because I like calling bullshit out occasionally, sometimes. Yeah. So once again, when it comes to the characters, I don't have a lot of context, which again might be given if I was to play Rayman Origins. But again, it didn't really feel like it was really needed and wasn't really all that required. And to the surprise of nobody, not to the surprise, I wasn't surprised anyway, there's literally no character development. But again, platformer. Character development is not really needed or required for them. Again, there are platformers with good character development. Klonoa! Sly Cooper! I guess. But again, it's not really something platformers are really known for, mostly. Now, if the needed context for character development is in Rayman Origins, then yeah, I'll play it. Otherwise, there may not be much of a point. Being honest here, I'm not going to lie to you, giving you how I honestly feel. Yes, I could be wrong. Let's even assume I am wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Okay? I don't know. Literally my first Rayman franchise game. But if there is no character development there either, what's the point? Like, seriously, what's the point? Now, you can actually technically play as different characters from a hero gallery in the game, but they all pretty much play the same. They all literally play the same. I mean, it's both good and bad, I guess. It's cool that you get to play as different characters. I mean, the only thing I'll really say to try to be critical here, negative, whatever you want to call it, is that maybe you can try to give some of the characters some, quote unquote uniqueness to them, you know, and have them be better at some things and not be good at some other things. Maybe have characters be good in certain stages and other characters not be good in other stages, although that could be bad too. But I'm just saying, if they want to ever do something more with this franchise, that's something they could consider. Will they? I don't know. Maybe it's best they stick to the format that they know and that clearly works from what you saw from the Metacritic scores. But I'm just saying it's something that if they want to try to advance it a little or do something new with, that's something they could maybe consider. But that's just me. I'm not an expert. Don't listen to me. Literally, don't listen to me when it comes to how to improve your game. In certain circumstances, don't listen to me. This is definitely one of them. I will admit that much. That's pretty much it for the characters. Again, not much to say, not much to really go on and on about. So we will move on to the world and the setting of the game. That's what we will do. We will do that. All right, so the world of the game, the setting of the game, whatever wording you want to give it. You know what's weird? You want to know what's really ironic about this game? And I guess I would assume the franchise too, as a whole. And even from some YouTube comments I saw when I was listening to some of the music from the game, which is actually really damn good. I will admit that much. So that's something I can quickly say here is that the music is actually shockingly good in this game. Really good. Really, really good. So that's really all there is to say about the music. I will talk about it a little more here in a bit. But so the world and setting of this game, and I'm assuming the franchise, is that apparently it's also a world of dreams. You know, the dream world, if you want to call it that. Oh God, does that mean it's in the same universe as Klonoa? Oh God! I'm sorry, I had to. Boy, if only. Sounds to me like two certain characters from definitely not the same universe should collaborate and kill the companies that own them. Because clearly they don't give a fuck about them. Let's just pretend I didn't just say that. So the world and setting of the game is different paintings and worlds with different settings. Normal for platformers. A forest area, wood area, underwater, stealth area, which kind of made me think it was a Splinter Cell reference, which is also a franchise owned by Ubisoft they don't give a fuck about anymore. Not that I care about Splinter Cell, but just saying. A fire area and or a world of the dead quote unquote area, because it has skeletons and has a lot of references to the Mexican holiday known as, I'm gonna butcher this, I'm sorry, Des de los Muertos, which is Day of the Dead in Mexico. And heaven area, based on Olympus, the place where the gods live, from Hercules, the Disney movie franchise, kind of covered it a little, but that area. Another thing, which I said I was going to come back to, is this game actually has a couple musical areas, kind of like Sackboy: A Big Adventure did and does, except definitely not as many as Sackboy: A Big Adventure has. I don't know. This is not a literal number, so seriously, do not quote me here. But I'm fairly certain Sackboy: Big Adventure had twice as many areas with actual, real, music by artists. Like in Sackboy, it was like Britney Spears and Bruno Mars and people like that. But So it feels like Sackboy: A Big Adventure has had musical areas like twice as many as this game. Not that that's a bad thing. Maybe Sackboy was inspired by Rayman Legends. Did you think of that? I don't know if that's true. I'm just throwing that possibility out there. Anyway, this game had some musical areas too. The only difference is it didn't have the literal song, which might be a good thing because of DMCA bullshit. But the game had like game versions or and covers of the well-known songs like Black Betty, Eye of the Tiger, from the Rocky franchise, and Woohoo. I know there's two songs with that, but that the song from Kill Bill. So I had covers of those songs. When it came to the world and the setting itself, I liked it. I really did. I liked the worlds and levels and stages. I did kind of feel like it was actually really unique with how it was like paintings and that you jump into the painting. I liked it. I did. There's literally nothing else for me to say about the world and the setting. Seemed fine to me. Seemed to fit to me. Whatever. Can't really say anything else. Don't know what else to say. So now it's finally time to get to the stuff that I'm really not an expert on, as I always say, graphics and gameplay. Graphics and gameplay. Okay, so graphics first. It's a 2D side-scrolling platformer, which aren't really made a lot anymore. Whether that's good or bad is subjective. But for the purposes of this specific video and this specific game, that's what it is. It can look 3D sometimes because the camera will zoom in certain moments in certain situations, and it does look slightly 3D, but it's mostly a 2D side-scrolling platformer. Now, honestly, I don't know if if the Rayman franchise is mostly known for, or if a known staple, quote unquote, of the franchise is a 2D side-scrolling platformer. I don't. It's literally my first Rayman game. Give me a break. But either way, I loved it. I did. And I will go even further with this and say that this is probably one of the few 2D side-scrolling platformers, quote unquote, that I've actually enjoyed. And yes, this includes some of the Kirby games that are also 2D side-scrollers. Yeah. Yeah. It did seem to fit the game, though, and its art style. Origins is apparently also similar. I don't know. Very cartoony as well. Cartoon-like. Seemed to fit it just fine. I think that's what Rayman is known for. Feel free to educate me. I like learning, even though I'm almost 40, but you never stop learning. That's something you gotta know, is that you never stop learning, no matter what age you are. But yeah, obviously the I'm sure there'd be someone who would come up and go like, "Wouldn't you normally bash something like this?" Because it wasn't 3D or too simplistic or, not ambitious enough, quote unquote. No, I'm not going to do that. Why would I do that? As long as it's a good game, I don't care if it's a 2D side-scrolling platformer or a massive 3D open world platformer. If it's a good game, that's all that matters. And that's all that really should matter. I get you want to push the limits and go massive 3D, but If it's a 2D side-scrolling platformer and is amazingly fun, why would I act like that's too simplistic or not ambitious enough? I didn't feel that in any way whatsoever. Whatsoever. As long as it fits, who cares, really? Seriously, who cares? Well, I don't care. I don't care. You can care. I'm sure someone might care about whatever you want, obviously, but as long as it's good, who cares? Who cares? Gameplay. So, here's where the important stuff comes in. So you will unlock different and unique things as you progress through the stages and levels. Platformer, wall jumping, wall running, flying, regular platforming. Stealth sections, which, normally I'm pretty bad and shit at, but somehow wasn't in this case. Maybe they were simple enough so it didn't really matter, but chase sequences as well, where you chase an enemy to rescue the teensies. And also you receive help to do certain things in the level via your support character, quote-unquote Murphy, as he'll, cut ropes, block obstacles, destroy obstacles, etc., etc., etc. Here's something you need to know, though. And here's where some criticism and negativity is going to come in here. This game is very challenging at times and at certain moments. It's not easy. I can tell you that right now. It's not easy. Probably too much so. If you ask me. If you ask me. I have said this several times as well, or at least I feel like I have. So I will say it again. Having a challenge is fine, okay? If you like having a challenge, good for you. Good for you. Obviously. But sometimes it can get a little too far into the too frustrating and too difficult territory. It can. You can pretend like that doesn't happen and doesn't exist. It does. It does. And unfortunately, this is one of those times. I really did feel like there were way too many situations and moments where it was too frustrating and too difficult for me. Is that the point? I mean, I would assume that would be the point. I would assume that's the case. But that doesn't mean I'm going to not call it out or not say it's a negative. I mean, one thing I will at least admit to you is that what the Crash Bandicoot games taught me is how to be a persistent bastard until I won, which I did, eventually. I just kind of wish it wasn't as hard as it was at times, especially during certain situations, certain levels, sections, bosses, so on and so on and so on. I could go on forever, but hopefully you get the point here. It was just way too difficult and too frustrating in a lot of different situations and moments. It really was. I'm sorry. For me, it was. Maybe you are just this expert video game player and you won't struggle in the slightest. Good for you, but not everyone is like that. So for me, it was just too difficult and too frustrating during certain situations and certain moments. For me, at least. But obviously, everyone's going to be different, so. But that's just how I personally felt when it came to how difficult and how frustrating this game was at many, many, many moments. But to quickly counteract that, overall, this was a really damn fun game, honestly. It really was. It was really fun. Really damn fun. Extremely fun, basically. Because each new world brought something new to the table that kept it fresh and unique and engaging, kept me invested, and so on, and so on, and so on. It's honestly probably the most fun I've had playing a 2D side scrolling platformer in a really long time. A really long time. I mean that. I really do. I did not have this much fun, or at least I don't remember having this much fun playing maybe even any. I mean, I probably shouldn't say any, but definitely not in recent memory from a lot of the Kirby 2D side scrolling platformers I played. I really do mean that. At least I don't remember having this much fun in any of those games. So, yeah, really great. Really great. Yeah, just really great. So, the collectibles, the teensies, which I kind of showed you already, but I can show you again, these things. Um, they actually were hard to find and get at times. So there were times I would have to sort of like redo or do over or do again or whatever wording you want to give it a level to find them all. Do a level multiple times. Mostly though, and don't have a heart attack. Seriously, don't with what I'm about to say here. But mostly, I actually found them all relatively easily, even without a guide. I hope you're not on the floor having a heart attack. But yeah, I did a mostly good job with that. Mostly, sometimes I would have to do the level again, or do it multiple times, or do it a second time to find one. But nothing too outwardly ridiculous, other than when it was combined with the ridiculous difficulty moments. Anyway. The bosses were also pretty good and unique. Nothing else to say. I just wish they weren't as difficult as they were. As pretty much all of them, literally all of them, took me several attempts. I did not keep count. Just know it was a lot. Trust me, it was a lot. Definitely more than 10. I can tell you that. Um, yeah. There's not much else to say. Um, Nothing else I can really think of. I did mention the shockingly amazing music, so yeah, that's pretty much it. To the best of my ability, anyway, of the story of the game, the characters, the world, the setting, whatever you want to call it, the graphics and the gameplay of Rayman Legends. Overall, amazing. Amazing. There's nothing else. There's no other word to really give it. Nothing else for me to really say. I think I might, maybe, just maybe, liked it better than Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Please don't stalk and kill me for that. Sheesh. It just, I definitely would have lived without the frustrating and overall overly difficult and too difficult moments, stages, levels, bosses, so on and so forth, so on and so forth. Showed it to you already. I don't know why they changed it, but here's the critic reviews. I mean, I didn't play the Wii U version. I don't know why they changed this, but there's the user reviews for the PS4 version, and then here it is for the critic reviews first. I mean, and then here's the user reviews. When it comes to me specifically, I would say, actually, hold on, sorry. I really don't like that they changed this. Yeah, my personal score for the game would probably be an 8.5 out of 10, so it would be literally the same as the user score for the PlayStation 4 version. So that would be my score, which is Technically higher than what I gave Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Yeah, it's amazing. Play this game. It's amazing. Play this franchise, or at least as many as you can. I don't know why all of a sudden these companies think that platformers are fucking dead and aren't profitable and should die in a ditch somewhere. You want to know what won Game of the Year last year? A platformer. Just saying. I'd better stop. But yeah, if more games are made, if more games are made for Rayman, or if they re-release prior games on modern consoles, I will support the hell out of it. You can count on my support as well to try to show them that we want this game and franchise back. Whether or not it'll work, well, you have already seen that they clearly don't give a fuck about anything other than Assassin's Creed, so. uh, this is the problem. I get into shit way too little too late. I do. I do. I'm worried about Tales of now. After what happened with that shit, of how they clearly wanted to make a new IP, but Scamco told them no and ordered them to slap Tales of on it. Never gonna think differently, never going to say differently. So I'm worried about that franchise now too. But not really the point right now. It makes no sense to me. And all these people who want to act like platformers aren't profitable. Sure thing, buddy. Sure thing, buddy. Sure thing. You got evidence? Is that a no I hear? Then shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Give me a break with that bullshit. Astrobot literally won Game of the Year last year. So much for that, huh? Okay, I'm done before I really start going off and shooting and ranting and go on a tangent, whatever word you want to use. The point is, if more Rayman games are made, you can count on my support. If they re-release old games from the franchise, you can count on my support. That's the point. That's the point. Too little, too late. I know. I'm literally saying it because it's factual. I don't know. What can you do? What can you do? Except, say this. Fuck you, Ubisoft. Fuck you, Ubisoft. Except do that. Cat. I told you I'm really behind. Games where you play as a cat is practically its own genre now. Boy, if only people realized this sooner. Next is Stray. Next is Stray. So, yeah. Another short game. Expect to hear from me again in a week. Lost Soul Aside is coming out soon, though. So they might put out a demo for that. Although, really, at this point, my Twitch is basically just an easy way for me to make long YouTube videos. But if they put out a demo for Lost Soul Aside, I'm playing it. So, yeah, it'll help me decide. They haven't yet. I don't know if they will. They might not. But if they do, you'll see it, trust me. Other than that, there's still not really a whole lot going on. Things will pick back up in September, probably, most likely. But yeah. I don't care about Gamescom. I'm sorry, I don't. Nothing ever happens at Gamescom I care about. Every year is different. Things are going to be different. There's always a possibility, etc., etc., etc. But mostly nothing ever happens at Gamescom I care about, but we'll see. If something is massive enough, then you will hear from me. Trust me. But yeah, that's all I got for you. Nothing else to say. I just wish someone would fucking come down and rescue Rayman and Klonoa. And Dot Hack. Let's throw that in there too. Clearly, it's never going to happen. Oh well. Fuck you, Ubisoft. Fuck you, Scamco. And we're done. This is Mega Champ saying next time I'll be providing you with more unlimited guidance. Bye. Nothing else to say. Sorry. Bye.